Go from there. All right. This is the Homegrown Hunter.
Beautiful day here in Manitoba. We're here with our good friend Mike Berger. We're about 5 weeks away from opening gun season in November. Got ourselves the stump 3 in place. Tyrel is going to be sitting in this spot this coming fall.
So it's opening, well, our opening morning in Manitoba, first day sit. It's end of November. It's pretty chilly. It's about -7 with a -12 wind chill so far. It's supposed to go down to about -15 tonight, so it'll be nice and cool. Sitting in a Banks blind, it's pretty comfortable considering how cold it is. We're out here looking for a mature buck, sitting over top of a cut bean field. Haven't seen anything yet. Kind of just getting daylight though, so we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Just had a nice 8-point come through. It was a good buck. But hard judgment call on the first morning. Do I end my hunt right away, or do I pass on him, see if something bigger comes out? I don't know if it was the right decision to pass on him or not, but it's done now, so we'll just have to see what happens. It was within the first hour on the first day, so I'm sure I'll see more. It's supposed to get colder, so we'll see what happens. Here we go.
Mafagani Safaris, Africa's superior South African safari destination for the whole family, proudly presents Homegrown Hunter TV. Brought to you in partnership with Rackstacker, Canada's leader in big game attractants. Campbellford Chrysler, a small-town dealer with a huge inventory. Huckabones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubota dealer. Kent Cartridge Canada, Bishop Lake Outdoors. Nature of Design, Signs and Graphics, and these other fine sponsors. Welcome back to the Homegrown Hunter.
It's the second day hunting here in Manitoba. Back in the Bank Stump 3 blind. It's very cold today. It's -16, feel like -24 right now. Glad to be sitting in a nice blind like this. Makes a big difference. It's pretty windy out too. I think it's 16 km/h winds with 25 km/h gusts, so it's pretty chilly. But hoping to see something big drop last night, so that shouldn't bring them out. They need to get eaten, get themselves warmed up. We'll see how it goes. It's only about a half hour into the hunt so far, so we do an all-day sit again. And hopefully we get a big boy to come in. We'll see what happens.
And now, this week's Cut to the Chase segment, brought to you by Rack Stacker.
That's how that's done. Just doing my part to take care of the coyote population. That's fun. I love shooting coyotes.
I headed out right after I shot this coyote, trying to keep the scent down as much as possible for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, in Manitoba, as a non-resident, you can only shoot one coyote and have to shoot it before you harvest your deer. But with how many coyotes there are around, as you will see throughout the next few days, we wish there was more tags available. As day 2 came to an end, it was nice to see there was a bit of chasing going on. Gets my hopes up for the mature bucks to be moving more.
Closed captioning brought to you by Woodland Mill, a Canadian premier forestry products company.
If you can stay on your toes, it's amazing the subtle differences you can notice in the scenery. This coyote was almost 500 yards out. After all this coyote activity, I decided it was time to switch out to a different location to hopefully get some more deer action. Mid-afternoon, I switched to a different bank's blind that we had set up earlier in the year. Unfortunately, all I saw was this coyote. Not a single deer to be seen. That ended off day 3. Welcome back to the Homegrown Hunter TV. I'd like to take you to a place on the Rack Stacker farm, right in the middle of the bush, where we're going to start this hidey hole food plot. The first thing we did here was go around and mark out the area that we would have the food plot in. Then we started working on clearing out all the understory brush. After that, it was time to get a fire going so that we could clear up all the brush that we were getting rid of. Now, I do want to point out that I was very careful to clean up all the leaves around that fire pit. I also checked on the wind and made sure that it was going to be low for the entire day. It's also a very cool day and I was with the fire all day long. I started working at getting all the smaller trees in the center part of the food plot cleared out so I could get them all cut up and put into the fire. Now, it was about this time that I had a couple buddies show up to help me. It makes it go way faster getting a couple buddies to help. After that, it was time to start raking up all the leaves. You have to go around and rake them all up so that it gets rid of the cover on the dirt so that your seeds will have great seed-to-soil contact. Burning off all the leaves made it so that I didn't have to worry about putting them in a big pile and removing them all later. All of these weeds and grasses that you see came up in only a couple of days. We purposely did this so that we could spray it with herbicide. Now, you don't have to do this, but it will be more competition for your food plot seed if you don't spray off the weeds first. We decided to put out a food plot by Rack Stacker called Walk and Toss. This seed blend is extremely versatile and will grow in almost anything. Now, you still do need the right amount of sunlight in a day, as well as following the instructions on the packaging so you get the correct seed rate. It's very important to not put down too much seed.
That's it for now. The bugs are getting bad. We'll see you in a month. The rain's coming in the next couple days.
Back in the spring, we came into Steve's bush, found a spot that's secluded, cleared out all the leaves out of the way so that we could plant a walk and toss plot. This is going to be a great spot to bring deer in. Now, we got all the leaves out of the way, we cleared a bunch of the brush out of the center of the plot, and then we spread out walk and toss through the whole thing. It's all coming up. It's not as big as we'd like, and that's all because there's too much canopy. So now we're back to take out all the canopy around. We're gonna cut some of the trees out of the middle. We're gonna girdle one of the big trees in the center. We're gonna hinge cut all the trees along the outside to give us way more sunlight in here. We're not concerned with the seed here. We don't need to do any overseeding at all. There's actually lots of plants coming up right now. The clover has established its roots. It's just not getting the sunlight that it needs. So we're gonna come in, give it tons of sunlight, and it'll shoot right up like crazy. We still have 40-45 days until the opening day for deer season, and once we get this all coming back up, there's lots of time for attraction for them to come in. Now, we did notice that over here there's a dead ash tree, and with the leaves gone off of it, it's giving way more light to the ground, and you can see how much more growth there is in this plot in that section. So we know that this is all stunted just because we don't have enough sunlight. We're gonna get these trees out of here, and it's gonna make a huge difference come hunting season. We'll come back to you soon and you'll be able to see how much bigger this gets once you add sunlight to it. So in the middle of this plot, we have a fairly large maple tree. It's about 12 dBH, so we're gonna girdle it so that it'll die in place because we don't want it to fall and be in the middle of our plot and be in our way. So it's gonna die off in place, still give us the sunlight down to the floor, and then we're gonna be able to come in the winter and pull this out to have it for firewood or to mill up. So to girdle a tree, you're cutting through the cambium layer. We're going to do 2 cuts about 4 inches apart, and we're going about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in. That kills all the nutrients from coming down from the top to the root system, so it'll be dead completely. And then there will be more sunlight coming to the ground because all the leaves on the top will die off. So you can go one step further with this and put chemical on this cuts as well. It'll make sure it's totally dead and we can come back in here in the winter and get our firewood. What I'm doing here is called hinge cutting. You cut partway through the tree and let it fall over, still connected to the cambium layer, which makes it so that it stays alive and keeps producing foliage for years to come, all on the ground so that it's within reach of all the deer. Now that we've created a big mess in here, it's great for turkey nesting. They're gonna love this in the spring next year. We're getting there now. You can really start to see the sun coming through. We're about 1/4 of the way through, so we'll keep working our way all the way around.
This week's tech tip is brought to you by Banks Outdoors, distributed in Canada by Rack Stacker.
So this is one of the reasons why we don't like to hinge cut bigger trees. This is called a barber chair. It can be very, very dangerous. This one was easy, it fell off to the side, I was safe. But this is why you should cut it on your normal practices when it's a larger tree and not bother with hinge cutting. So you can see that there's lots of canopy back behind me, so there's no growth coming up. We want lots of understory growth for the deer to be able to eat. That's why we're cutting these trees out, so there's tons more food for them. If we keep hinge cutting back, it gives them extra food from the hinge cut, and it'll have understory growth coming up, giving them tons more food. The food plot's great because it gives them lots of food, but this just gives them even more throughout the next few years. So we're gonna keep cutting, and we're gonna get this food plot all ready to go. We'll see you guys soon.
Don't go anywhere. What happens next will keep you on the edge of your seat.
The Homegrown Hunter team and I rely on using the revealed trail cameras throughout the year to send us information that's happening on our hunting property. There's lots of great accessories like the solar panel and the extended range antenna to get the information that we need throughout the app, and we don't have to go in here at all. I set the camera up just like this, it gets me the information I need, and it's right to my fingertips. If you're interested in checking out revealed trail cameras or any of the accessories, be sure to check out rackstacker.ca and we'll ship it right to your door.
Welcome back to the Homegrown Hunter.
After an extremely uneventful day 4, getting close to the end of the day, look at what walked in. This is day 4 or 5 of full sets. The first day, first morning, first hour, I had a really nice 8-point come out, and I screwed up. I didn't shoot him. I haven't seen hardly any deer for the last 4 days. All day sets, no mature bucks. Hang on. No way. No way. You would not believe the shit that just went down. Well, Mike's calling me at the same time, but nice looking, I think it was a 10 with a drop came in. I shot it, and I spun my camera around and started doing a little bit of a, here's the how about of what's going on, and the big mature 8 that I passed on came walking in. Yeah, right after I shot him. He just chased the doe around for a few minutes, stood there and looked around, and then just walked off. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, man. You killed a deer.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
you guys saw part of my commentary. And then you saw that was that 8-point that I passed on the first day. And it's only been 4 days. It's not like I have a history with this buck as such, but it almost feels like he's my nemesis. Like, pass on him when I shouldn't have, and then been hunting him for 4 days straight. After I realized that I made a mistake, and this great buck comes in that I end up shooting, and I'm more than happy with it. I'm excited. But of course, that guy had to come in right afterwards and just kind of flip his tail around at me to say, you couldn't get me. So, needless to say, it was exciting. He chased the doe off. Another buck came in, sniffed around for a while, and took off right after her as well. Talked to Steve, talked to Mike, they're both excited. I'm excited, I can't wait to go see it, but we kind of have a rule of half hour to an hour before we can go look. So we only got like another 10 minutes left, and I can't wait. It's been cold. It's been just a pretty wild week of not seeing a whole lot. Getting a coyote, which was awesome. And yeah, it's been fun. Like, I love coming here. I want to come back again next year. I hope Mike invites us back, and I can't wait to go look at this deer.
Thanks for joining us on the Homegrown Hunter TV. I'm your host, Steve Elmy. Tyrel's tagged out. It's time to pack up and head home. Be sure to check us out next week. Until next time.
For past episodes, be sure to check out hghtv.ca. Until next time.